Hey guys, welcome back to Tony's Phone Collection. Today we're going to do something a little different. We got two Motorola Razr. I think these are V3Ms or V3Cs, maybe even A's. What we're going to do is I want to swap the silver internal chassis onto the silver outside, and then the black inside onto the gray chassis. So I'm going to show you how to take apart the gray one. I'm going to remove the back door. I'm going to take the battery out. It's a T6 or 7. I think this is a 7 maybe. So we're going to remove these two screws. And there those two are. I'm going to grab a little plastic pry tool that comes with most phone kits for iPhones and stuff nowadays. I'm going to go right in there and just spread it apart. You don't want to just rip it completely up because there's a cable under here. We're going to pick it up and fold it like that. That one will come disconnected, and then this one, you just take your fingernail and pull it off. There's that. There's going to be two Torx screws holding this bottom plastic chin on. And they're also, oh yeah, they're different size. Let me see. I got this one right here. Oh, that's too big. That's too small. One second, guys. Let me find the right size. Alright, guys. I found one. Got one screw there. And this metal shield's going to come off as well. I'm going to pull this screw and the shield will come out with that screw. And then the bottom chin will just pop right off. Then we're going to open it up, and there's going to be 4 little rubber stoppers. This one's missing 2 of them, but there's 4 of them. You're going to get a nice fine tip pair of tweezers is what I use, and very carefully go in there and pull them up. Just like that. Well, there's one. Like I said, if it had all 4, you would do it to all 4, but I only have 2, so. And there's another one. Go ahead and pull it off, and then you're going to take 4 screws out. And it's the right size. There we go. You're going to have to kind of push hard to get through all that glue and stuff that's on there. See if I can get my camera to focus on that. There you go. See all that glue around the screw? You have to go through that. So you're going to have to push kind of hard. Whole bunch of glue in that one. Look at that. That's nasty. I think this other one's going to be like that. Yep. See how that stuff coming out of there? It's all the dirt and glue over the years. Have to clean all that up. So once that's off, this front... Oh, screwdriver's running away. Once that's off, this front cover will come off. The best way I go is on this big speaker key. I'll usually just kind of push in there a little bit. You know, go gently. You know, it's kind of just working in there. And kind of just twist it a little bit until it starts popping up. Like that. You don't want to try too hard because you don't want to crack the LCD. You don't want to break your plastic tabs or your metal tabs on this. So, kind of got to work it a little bit. Remember, this top is also, oh, one of the keys fell out. The top is also metal, so you don't want to bend it either. Alrighty, and then the volume keys and the speaker key and then the voice command key will probably already have fallen out. You want to push down lightly on your LCD while you pull the trim because there's glue, and you don't want to rip your ribbon cable right here. So there's going to be the front cover. So that's all we're going to take off to change this phone over to the, I'm going to try to tuck that back in, to the gray. We're just going to pull everything off identically on the silver one. We'll put all the silver parts on the silver internals. And then we'll have the gray pieces on the black. So I guess we can go ahead and do a teardown of both of them. So On the silver one, like I said, you're going to remove the battery, the back cover, and the battery. You're going to have your 2 screws here. Oh, wrong size. I do like working on older phones. They are kind of fun and interesting how they go together. You're going to kind of pull up right here, get underneath this bottom port because it's clipped right there. You go around it and make sure you push right here because like I said, there's that one cable that's right underneath this. You want to kind of push down so you don't rip it when you unplug it. Let's work it off. We'll flip it open like this, open. Got that one cable here. Disconnect that. And this is the board. This is going to have all the memory. This is basically the heart of the phone right here. So then you're going to take these 2 bottom screws out. Oh, gotta get the right bit. And remember, you're going to have the shield you're going to have to take off as well. Dropping screws. That screwdriver just slides all over on this new glass table. Like I said, it's kind of hooked up underneath this, so you'll have to kind of pull it around without ripping that cable. We're going to have the shield, and the screw fell out. And then just pull the bottom trim off. And then I'll kind of give you a look at what it's going to look like. Put the gray on here. It'd be gray, and I just think that's kind of cool, you know. So let's go ahead and open it up, and we're going to dig out all 4. This one's got all 4 little rubber stoppers in there, so we're going to have to take all those out. These 2 top ones, you can just use your fingernail and work it out. They're pretty easy to come out on the top. So those are out. The bottom ones, use the tweezers. Don't want to make it look ugly, and you don't want to scratch the frame, so they're kind of glued in lightly, and they'll come right out. There we go. And then you're going to have those 4 screws to take out. And there's 1. There's 2. There's a little magnet right here, so that's what it gets stuck to. So I think these ones had the rubber caps and stuff on them. There's not a lot of trash in the bottom ones. Top ones still got some glue. And like I said, once you got that, oh, the screw stuck to my finger. Once you got those off, we'll close it up. We will put the tool, like I said, right above that speaker key. Shove it in there. You're going to kind of pry it until you get it to come loose. Like that. Like I said, you just want to work with it. You know, it's metal, so it's going to eventually come off. Slide down here at the bottom. Come back to the top. Start working down. And boom. Like I said, you want to have pressure on your screen, because this is kind of glued down right here in this area around it. And if you don't, if you're just pulling on it, you'll pull the whole LCD up and you'll rip this cable right here, and then your phone won't work no more. So there's the metal pieces, or the silver pieces. So we'll go ahead and slap this button back in here. These just slide in. They have like a little notch. They just slide in this little channel. It's kind of hard looking through the phone to do. There you go. Right there. Then we're going to take the gray front bezel. We're going to line it up. You're just going to push down on it. Open up the screen, you know, kind of get it all worked in there nice and get all the clips popped in. See how it's nice and flat? The screws will finish tightening the rest of it down, but see how it's nice and flat in there? It's not sticking up, nothing's in the way. You can see that the screws will pull a lot of these down, but so now we're going to grab the 4 screws. Oops, maybe. We're We're going to tighten them up. You don't want to snug these real tight, just, you know, nice and tight. I was using the wrong screws. Alrighty, and then you're going to take these little rubber stoppers. And the bigger ones are going to go on the top. See, these are the bigger ones right here. And you just kind of got to line it up in there. And you just push it in. I'm going to take this off real quick and do it. Alright, there's one in. There's another one in the bottom. I say just kind of just work with them, you know. It's hard to do it when you're looking through the camera, but they're pretty easy. Like I said, it just kind of starts going in there and you just push it down. And boom, it's in there. Now we did, it looks like we misplaced one. So we'll have to, oh there it is. Right there by the volume key. So these top ones, if I can get my camera to focus here. There you go. And you're just gonna put these in. Like I said. Okay. You can see those are put back together now. They're sticking out a little bit. That's how they're supposed to do it, so they give it a little closing sound. We're going to take the gray bottom trim, because like I said, it's the black inside. We're going to take the gray bottom trim on the bottom. This part's kind of tricky to do. You're going to hold it here. You're going to grab this metal shield. Not throw the screw like I did. Oh, here it is. And at the same time, you're going to have to do all this, holding the chin on, lining up the shield, and then putting the screw in it. So it's going to be kind of hard. Especially when I'm working around the tripod. Let me pause this and then I'm going to do it real quick. Okay, once you get one in, screwdriver. Once you get one in, it makes it easier to get the next one because you don't have to hold the bottom piece or anything. So you go ahead and start it. Like I said, just snug these up. You don't want them too tight. Oh, there we go. And you see it's nice and flat. I like it. So next we're going to take the board, the gray one. Now if you do this, the proper way to do it is to pull this sticker off, because this has all the IMEI and ESN numbers that are going to match the silver board. So we could do it this way to make sure those match. You can actually just pull out these little rubber plugs like that. And then you take a straight screwdriver. I have one here. Looks like we do. And right here, you're going to pry up in here. You're going to pull it back while you pull up on this plastic speaker assembly. You might be able to just kind of work it out. It is a pain, especially when you got there we go. Pry it up. And then the antenna assembly, this metal piece is kind of routed back here. You're going to have to unhook it and this whole piece come out. Set that aside. Here's going to be the board. You can just grab the charging port area and kind of work it out. There we go. And we'll do the same on the silver one. This one's got red and blue stoppers where the other one just had black. Doesn't necessarily matter, just different colors. Now, I found easier was to hook right here and do it. So yeah, that is probably the easiest way to do it. And come out of here and grab your antenna, because this right here is your internal antenna. So once you got that out, like I said, take the board, kind of push by the battery terminal area. Now this board matches this ESN number. So now we're going to be able to put it in the gray frame to make it all match, and I'll keep it original, and we don't have to pull the sticker out. Because you pull the sticker out, it looks really weird. I just don't like it that way. So to put this back in, we're going to have to line up those plastic tabs in the hole. And you're just going to clip it in. You're going to make sure those tabs are seated right. And then you're going to grab your little rubber thingies, your little stoppers, I guess, keep it from disconnecting. You're going to try to push it in there. I guess this one was supposed to have the black ones. Let me go and pause and do these, I'll show you. Alrighty, so those are now in and seated. This one's kind of sticking up a little bit, but maybe clipped it in all the way there. Yeah, that seemed to work. So make sure it's all nice and seated flat. You're going to take the phone. You're going to hook this cable up. While it's hooked up, you're going to kind of fold this over. And you're going to kind of jiggle it. You can kind of see in there where that connector is supposed to connect. Kind of push in that area. And then lift up just a tad bit just to see if it's plugged in, which it is. I just unplugged it. And do it again. You just want to make sure that connector is plugged in. And then you can go and squeeze this bottom piece down. There it goes, it's plugged in. So now we're going to take these, maybe it's not, 1 second. Okay, so once those are in, you're going to take your, let's go and grab these two because I know they're right. Your two bigger screws that we took out the back. You got to swap out your tips again on your screwdriver or another screwdriver, depending on how you do it. Now screw that together. Now you're going to make sure everything's seated nice and flat in there. You're going to take your battery, put your gray cover on it. Like I say, that cable might have came unplugged. Nope, I had to swap batteries. This one's apparently dead, so the new battery in there. You want to turn on the phone. Here the speaker's working. See, the screen is working. Okay, there you go. You're going to put your finger up here on the top, and that's going to be the indicator for the light. Whenever it gets dark and you hit the key, the light will come on. So the keypad is working. Go ahead and test everything on it. Make sure nothing's broken. Check both keys. Everything's working. You want to check your volume keys. Speakerphone key. Your voice command key. Your front's working. And there you go. That is how you swap the color. So now it's going to be the gray and black. And we'll go ahead and put the silver one back together. I wasn't going to do it, but I think y'all like to see it, so we'll go ahead and do it. So you're going to take your silver back piece. We got your silver board. We're going to slap those in. Just have this part done, because this kind of really is the tough part, is getting all this back together right here. Got your speaker and antenna assembly. Like I said, you want to line up your clip. Line it up on that side. And just squeeze everything to make sure it's all in place. You'll kind of see when it's all flat down. You're going to take your little rubber thingy, put it in there. Oh, thing fell. Like I said, now the board's back together. So we're going to take this back. You want to kind of keep this little rubber seal in place, but just kind of keep it out of the way. They're supposed to be kind of tucked underneath this glass, but usually they're glued down to the top frame, so when you peel them off, they just come off. Let me try to put it in there real quick. Okay, that was a pain. What I ended up doing was grabbing my tweezers and grabbing on it, kind of shuffling it back and forth till I got it back in there. We're going to take the front lens. Remember not to touch the inside of your camera lens in here. You don't want to touch the inside of it because you're going to use your fingerprint and your camera won't look very good. Also, don't want to get no dust in here. So going to put this on. Oh, actually, don't do that. Don't listen to me. Got to put the buttons in first. Going to line your buttons up. Remember, they only go one way. And you see your little things come out. You just kind of push them back in. Slap these back in. Alrighty. Now you could also take some alcohol up and, you know, clean all these too while you're at it. Take your front cover, line it all up, clip it back into place. Then we're going to take our screws. Oh, go ahead, swap tips, I forgot from doing the other one. Yeah, I know this video is going to be really long, guys. We're already at what? 21 minutes it shows. Oops. This one had a whole bunch of glue on it. Now these all four around the screen are the same size. So that's good. Those two go there. That one's a big one. That one's a big one. Let's see where the other ones go. Oh, they're there. There's that one. Oh, that's the wrong size. You'll tell when they're not the right screws because they really won't fit in there very good. They got a weird look to them. Got so much dust and stuff up here on the glass too, so it kind of makes it harder. Let me look for that screw real quick. Alright guys, I found it. So we're going to go ahead and put it in. I also did put one of the rubber caps in on that side, so I knew not to put a screw in there because it already had one. So go ahead and put this little rubber cap on. So just put them in there and they're flat. And this one's missing the two top covers. So there's the front piece back on. I call this piece the chin. I don't know what you really want to call it, but I'm going to call it the chin. Just going to get some of this dirt off of here. We're going to set it down to line this metal up. I'm going to slide it underneath the cable. There's a little latch right here that goes over this hump. So we're going to put it over there like that. And those will line up. Take our bottom chin assembly with our screwdriver. We're going to tighten down right there. Maybe. Being difficult. There we go. You might have to push down on this chin too while you're holding the phone to give them to line up. Snug those up. Once those are done, you can take your board piece. And whenever you pull the board out, you might have the rubber plug fall out of there. We'll put it on at the end. You're going to take your connector. It just clips in. I'm going to kind of line this up. Like I said, I haven't found an easier way to do this cable down here. You just kind of have to just work it this way until you get it to connect. I mean, you could probably pull this paper up and do it that way, but so it's just easier to fight with it. There we go. Now we're going to put our 2 big screws in. Remember, you're going to have to swap your blades, or your screw tips. Like I said, you want to make sure that cable's in there before you screw that down, because otherwise you'll probably destroy your board, I can imagine. I think this is the right one. Nope. It's going to be the bigger one. Alrighty, once that's on, I'll test it, but we'll have to use the battery out of this one. And we'll go ahead and put that little plug in. It just goes in there and push it in. We'll turn it on. Like I said, you want to test everything as well. No, like I said, this battery's dead, so I won't be able to show you, but both of them at the same time. Alrighty, this one's turned on. So let's test the light on the keypad. I can see the keypad lights up. Remove it, let it hit the light, and it'll turn off. Cover it. Sometimes you have to hit the key to get it to turn on and off. Check the screen, check all the buttons. You can also check your camera, make sure it's working. Send key's working. Yep. There you go, all those are working. Volume key's working. Speaker. Voice command. Check your front display. See, and now we swapped the entire exterior and we kept the matching ESN numbers on both phones. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video of this, I guess kind of like a Motorola Razr rebuild, if you want to call it that. And stay tuned.